Armenians. Program notes from William Saroyan. Starting in 1973, William Saroyan began what has come to be known as an Armenian trilogy. In these three plays, Saroyan reflects on the Armenian diaspora, the nature of Armenianness, and his own set of life experiences. It is a deeply personal set of plays, largely unknown today, and some of Saroyan's most evocative writing for the stage. In the 1986 publication of an Armenian trilogy, the editor notes, the action in the original scenes, 1 through 7, Act 1, takes place in the Holy Trinity Armenian Apostolic Church in Fresno, still on the corner of Ventura and M Street, in the heart of what was once the Armenian town of Saroyan's youth. He called it the Red Brick Church because of the building material used to erect it in 1914. Act 2, scenes 8 through 21, takes place just across Ventura in the Armenian Patriotic Club, called until recent years the Asbarez Club, after the Armenian newspaper of that name moved to Los Angeles in 1974. In the spring 1993 issue of Ararat, H. Aram Visser says of the play, "The first play, Armenians, recreates the author's Fresno circa 1921. Homelessness, angst, radical doubt, the leitmotifs belong to literary modernism. One character's speech recalls Gaev in Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard. Again we have failed. We cannot even talk together about the same thing. Our minds wander. Well, all the same, I say long live Armenia." As in Chekhov, characters assert strong positions and in the same breath withdraw them. Nadjin, modeled on the minister who gave books to the young Saroyan, confesses a rather peculiar habit. "I write history. Well, at any rate, I write what I have felt, and of course, I also invent out of these things a kind of truth which I feel is greater than factual truth, Armenian truth." Armenians, also called The Armenians, had its premiere at the Diocese of the Armenian Church in America in the Haig-Kavukjian Armenian Arts Center in New York City on October 22, 1974. The show was directed by Ed Satrakian. The following piece was originally published in the January 1975 issue of the Armenian Church, and later included in the 1986 publication of an Armenian trilogy. Armenians by William Saroyan. Program note by the author. The play called Armenians is about people. The time of the play is approximately yesterday, 1920. At the time, the playwright was 12 years old and pretty much fascinated by everything that he saw in the streets and places of Fresno, California, which he visited daily in the course of his work as a newsboy. Not a route carrier, that's another kind of connection with newspapers, but a seller of papers, a walker, a headline shouter, a visitor of places, an observer of people. Some of the playwright's observations of some of the people of Fresno are in this play, from both before 1920 and from long after, including this morning, when a man outside a dentist's door said, "You are not what I expected you to be." I said, "Well, I can't say I'm sorry because I don't know what you expected, or why. Do you speak Armenian?" He then said in Armenian, "I expected you to be a shavlar," or something like that, which he said was the proper Armenian word for fat. I replied in Armenian, "Oh, I thought your disappointment was a consequence of having read my book, and then many years later finding me coarse and common in comparison with them. You should have heard me in Armenian. It was really elegant." "No," he said, "from photographs in papers and from friends who know you." "And these friends of yours," I said, "where are they now?" "Well," he said, "home or dead. I myself am 82 years old and had a stroke 2 years ago." "How many children do you have?" I said. And he said, "Well, I married the Pennsylvania Dutch woman who is in the dentist chair right now, and we don't have any children." Well, the man's dying, you see, and he hasn't left any fighters in the world, half Armenian and half Pennsylvania Dutch. Of course, this compels regret in me, because while Armenians have in America married into all races, there is enough of Armenia in their kids to keep the old fight going. And so here, this morning, was this good man at death's door with his wife in the dentist chair, and no kids at all, and therefore no grandkids, who, like as not, would only be 1/4 Armenian. I tried not to show my astonishment and disappointment, but soon enough got back on my bike and rode off, wishing him good luck, although I can't imagine where. This play is a little bit about that sort of thing, if in an indirect way. In wanting ourselves continued in the fight of the world, what we really want is the continuance of the human family itself, in its broadest, deepest, most complex, most troublesome, most unaccountable, most unacceptable, most preposterous, most contradictory, and most inexhaustibly unpredictable reality. But what for? Why? For the reason that only out of that awful, but also magnificent fullness may we expect the human race to begin, mark you, to become the fulfillment of what has been indicated in his nature and truth as long as there has been a chronicle of such things, chiseled in stone, painted on cave walls, put up into breathtaking architecture, murmured in lullabies, whispered and roared in symphonies, held fast and secret inside all invented shapes. Ship, locomotive, airplane, phonograph, radio, television, for instance. But probably even more significant is the model of all shapes, the egg, which of course eludes us entirely, having come as we ourselves have come, from the soul and heart of secrecy itself. We certainly want everyone to continue in the fight, and that of course has got us to include the Turk. May his eyes upon the privilege and helplessness which is the mark of humanity. The play Armenians perhaps says, it's hopeless, and we know it. But not so hopeless we don't want to find out how hopeless it is. Thanks for listening to From the Collection of Forever Saroyan. I'm Chris Garcia.